Hello again, guys. So, yesterday I was making the debuffs video, and while I was making it, something interesting happened.
Hi, Anthony Sullivan here for the Edge of Glory, the best knife sharpener money can buy.
So yep, as you saw, the short swords with Autoswing are pretty interesting. But that's not the only thing that got changed by Autoswing. So, if you don't know, the fire claws got kinda reworked, re-tiered maybe, in the 1.4, and right now the fire claws give you Autoswing for melee weapons and for whips. What that means is that you can rush to the jungle basically at the start of the game, open some chests and get the fire claws, and be able to auto-swing with any melee weapon or whip from the beginning of your playthrough. Why is that strong, and why should you rush the jungle for it? Well, let me actually show you. So, you know, broadswords, typical stuff, you can auto-swing with them, but let me show you one thing with broadswords. So, without the auto-swing, it's way slower, even if I'm spamming the left click. So, the auto-swing dramatically increases your weapon's attack speed by giving it some auto-swing. So, how good are short swords with auto-swing? So let's compare the DPS of the Lightsbane, which is the Corruption broadsword, and the Platinum shortsword. So the Lightsbane deals like around 80 damage per second, while the Platinum shortsword exceeds this damage by a lot. By a lot, 110 DPS from the shortsword. Yeah. Sucks that they didn't have the auto swing on short swords, right? The thing is that the Platinum short sword is a great weapon to use even in casual scenarios, whether it is a flying enemy, a fighter eye, anything that doesn't use projectiles basically. Plat short sword will demolish them with absolutely zero risk. It's a more practical weapon to use than broadsword, in my opinion. Actually, that's crazy, absolutely crazy. Then it costs like what, 8 platinum or something? That's the goal. That's the new meta. That's the new meta. Just get the plat short sword. And I don't believe I just said that. Boomerangs swing. If you didn't know, they swing. So let me show without the fire claws. Yep, I need to click, and with fire claws on, I just can hold the left click, and you know, for the long ranges it's not a huge deal, although it's already increasing our attack speed, but as you get closer and closer and closer, yep, they are pretty strong. So moving on to the spears, we have the weapon that used to be a melee way of cheesing the Brave tool. Spears also benefit from auto-swing, because they swing too. But one weapon, one underdog, one weapon that was just low tier weapon prior to 1.4 with auto-swing is one of the best late pre-hard mode melee weapon in the game, Dark Lance. So Dark Lance right now can do this. Yep, achieving on the single target as a spear around, well, let's say 180 DPS. Okay, and yo-yos, and yo-yos swing too. And how these swinging on yo-yos look? Let me show you. So if you use the yo-yo, it will eventually come back. So how about giving it auto swing? It's not a huge difference, but imagine it in the boss fight, when you don't really see your yo-yo and you need to click again to release it, and with the fire claws you just can hold your left click and don't worry about it at all. So, with that out of the way, let's move on to the combat tests of the weapons. So, Let me show you the main difference between the broadswords and the short swords against the group of enemies. So let me summon some skeletons here and let me show you the platinum short sword first. Okay. You keep your distance, you have your knockback, and you deal a lot of damage to them. Basically shredding them into pieces. While with the broadsword, yep, you kinda need to be cautious about your movement, because sometimes the enemy will just ignore your sword's knockback and damage you. And well, the platinum short sword was way quicker at creating those skeletons. Of course, with Gladius it will look a lot better, but with Gladius you don't have that much knockback, so yeah, you need to keep your distance. Okay, so the boomerangs. If you don't know, the boomerangs can damage multiple targets, even without piercing them. So we have our flamarang here, so summon skeletons, and yep, I will just fly away. Let's get the dark ones here. Yep. And I recommend using it in the really hard mode even, because my setup for melee right now, if I don't get the Breaker Blade from the Wall of Flesh, is the Dark Lance and Sun Fury. Dark Lance is a very safe weapon to use, even against some high mobility targets like these weird sardine cans from Crimson. It can keep you safe and it can dish out some serious damage, so I strongly recommend using the Dark Lance in very hard mode. The yo-yo, well, you know how the yo-yo works, I don't need to show it on the enemies. So with that out of the way, yeah, let me roll some boss montage with this short sword for you. In both of these montages, I was using the setup that you will most likely use in this stage of the game and in this fight. So, first things first, I went for the Queen Bee for some reason. And it was completely unnecessary. Don't use this short sword against Queen Bee unless you have a strong pre-hardmode melee build and just want to have some fun, then be my guest, but it's just a waste of time. But you know, it can kill the Queen of Bee. And the Brain of Cthulhu. Well, to my surprise, the Platinum Short Sword is a killer against Brain of Cthulhu. It can keep the creepers away. You don't really risk much with using it to clear those, because they most often come in a straight line, just like here, for example, and you can just damage them freely. And when you are against the true form of the Brain of Cthulhu, the enraged form, the short sword just melts him away. So I strongly recommend using the short sword against the Brain of Cthulhu. Like, you will have literally no problem killing him this way. So that actually allows you to rush him pretty early in the game and puts the rotted fork into grave. So the Brain of Cthulhu was next to the dungeon, and I kinda set up the arena there, kinda made the nighttime and went for the skeleton. And don't do that. Just never do that. So, yeah, the short swords are actually a good weapon. It was a total surprise to me, but the Autoswing works very well with the boomerangs and especially with the Dark Lance. Just use the Dark Lance in early hard mode build. You will absolutely not regret it. It's awesome. So that's all from me today, and yep, see you in the next one.